Hey everybody, welcome back. Just a couple minor quick updates. Still working on my flashback weekend video. The raw footage came out to be an hour, and I do not want to put up an hour-long video. I'm actually, it's like, man, did I just ramble on in that video? So I'm going to try and get it down as short as humanly possible. And if need be, I'm just going to re-record it. Like as soon as I brought it into Premiere and put it on the timeline, I was like, it's an hour long? I didn't even realize I even said that much. So Severin released this on their Facebook page with a picture of a bunch of meat. And it says, we'll be announcing nasty new titles on Monday with all the grisly trimmings. Spend the weekend building up an appetite for flesh. As you can tell, I wowed that. And then in the comments, as you can see, someone said, I get the sneaking suspicion you're about to drop an Anthropophagous, I hope I'm saying that right, an absurd bundle. I sure hope there's an internet somewhere where we are going to vacation. And Severin replied, this is a prime example of why you should never go on vacation, which basically means that's exactly what is coming up on Monday. I've been waiting. Now, I have the 88 Films release of Absrud, but I've been waiting for Severin's release of it. And obviously, Anthropophagous, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's just, when a word gets too long, I'm like, I don't know. It's like too many syllables in there. But I've been waiting for that release for years. I think it kind of bounced around a little bit too with some rights issues where I think one company was trying to get it for a while. Anyway, the fact of the matter is it's finally looks like it's going to pre-orders looks like are going to be up on Monday. So I'm definitely putting that in. I'm interested to see what the bundle is going to be like with those two films. What kind of extra things they're doing. Because speaking of Severin, I just got yesterday my bundle for the Changeling. So I'm planning to watch it later this evening. And that's a film I have been waiting for a long time, as I think a lot of us have been. It's just, it's such a great ghost story. I mean, it's so creepy, but the story is so well done. It has that mystery element to it and everything. It's just such a great film. So I'm looking forward to watching it this evening, which is kind of funny because they had it for sale at their table last week at Flashback. I actually could have just bought the movie last week, but I'd already pre-ordered the bundle. So not that I could have watched it before today anyway. So, didn't really matter in the long run. And another interesting tidbit is that director Felipe Mora, not sure if I'm pronouncing his first name correctly. Or even his last name, for all I know, even though it's spelled M-O-R-A, I could be mispronouncing his entire name, so I apologize for that. Apparently, he dropped a little nugget that he's working with Scream Factory on doing a new release of the Howling III, which he made. And I always felt Halloween Heavens, Howling 3 was a very underrated film. I mean, for me anyway, I always kind of felt it's my second favorite after the first film in all the Howlings. So that's a release I'm really excited for. I know it got some sort of weird, crappy release on some like triple pack kind of thing, but I don't have any more specifics on it. I assume it's going to have like a new transfer, and I believe it's also the uncut version, so it's not going to be edited or anything. That's probably something that I think it's still early on, so that may not be necessarily something that will be officially announced for a couple months. That may be more of a next year release. So, but it is something that they are working on. And something else that I hope somebody kind of puts out, because I'm a fan of it and I would love to see a Blu-ray release, is his other film Communion, with Christopher Walken, which is based on the book about the alien abduction by, what's his name, Whitley Strieber. You can look it up, but, if I'm wrong, I'll put a text on the bottom. I was always a fan of that film, so I hope that's something that also gets a Blu-ray release by somebody. I don't know if that's something that Scream Factory would put out. I mean, I think that's one of those that got lost in a bunch of, rights issues as well, so who knows? Maybe some of that's been worked out, maybe not. I don't know. So, but anyway, fingers crossed that gets released pretty soon. I also just got in my 4K Predator set that has Predator, Predator 2, and Predators. And the nice thing is that, especially with the first Predator, it does have a new transfer. I haven't watched it yet. I just read some reviews because I literally just got it in. But, I mean, for those of you who know, the Blu-ray release of Predator was kind of a disaster. It had so much noise reduction that it wiped so much grain out of that everyone just had that sort of waxy look to them. It's just like so bizarre. But the new 4K release does have a brand new transfer, and it does not have all that noise reduction applied. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching Predator without waxy faces. And also just watched actually the Scorpion release of The Unseen. You know, I saw it years ago, like I think when I was a kid on like VHS, and like didn't really remember much about it. So it was cool to actually watch it again. And the Blu-ray looks really nice. Like, I mean, I think, you know, and I was actually kind of surprised. Something I didn't even realize is that the film was directed by Danny Steinman, who did Savage Streets, and he did Friday the 13th Part 5. I did not know that he made The Unseen, so that was actually kind of cool. Now, there's a pseudonym in the film, and I need to actually go through some of the extras. I think there was some sort of issue where he wasn't happy during the editing process, and I think he had his name taken off or something. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's mentioned in the extras or not, so I'm gonna hopefully find out. But yeah, it was actually kind of cool to find out, like, oh, that's one of his films. Also watched the new Scream Factory release of Brainscan, and even though it doesn't have a new transfer, they did use a slightly older master, but it did look good. It does look slightly dated, but I mean overall it's still a nice transfer. I'm super happy to have that on Blu-ray. I've always thought that was very much an underrated film. And I just got in their Steelbook releases, Army of Darkness, The Howling, and Lifeforce. I have watched Lifeforce because that has the new 4K transfer that they did, and I have to say it looks fantastic. I mean, once you get past the first couple minutes, obviously with films, you know, older films that have a lot of visual effects and everything, you know, whenever anything was done, everything was done in a lab. So there's always a degradation of the image because of the processing, the lab processing that is done. So whenever you have credits, anything like a dissolve or a fade in, fade out effect, and obviously any kind of visual effects where you got matte shots or, you know, green, blue screen. We weren't using green screen yet. Anything like that. I mean, it's never going to look as good as stuff that is just done without any of that other extra processing that was done. So once you get past some of the effect shots in the opening of the film, I mean, I really then saw how good the new transfer was. And that's funny. It's a film that's actually kind of grown on me a lot over the years. Like, I've always liked it, but as the more I watch it over the years, I actually really like it more and more and everything. Like, some of it's still kind of silly, but I mean, but by and large, I actually really enjoy the film now, and technically it's a really nice film. Like, I mean, the cinematography is great, obviously the music, and I love the idea of it, you know, these space vampires kind of thing, because it's basically just kind of a big budget B movie, but there's a lot of good stuff there. And again, the new transfer actually looks really good. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. As always, please like the video because it helps with the wacky YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you like what you see, which I hope, because I like seeing more and more people not just watch the videos, but actually like get involved. I'm really loving all the comments that I'm seeing from all of you, and the back and forth that we're having. Did finally cross into the 3-digit subscribers, which I know for some people may not seem like anything. Like, woohoo, you have 100. Like, I don't even post anything and I have 100 subscribers. It's a big deal to me because for a couple of years I was actually sitting at 29 subscribers, and because I'm starting to move a little bit more into possibly doing this full time, which is very much a risk on my part, I'm trying to also then get into the fact that obviously, you know, that does mean something. So actually going from 29 to 100 over 3 months or something, for me is a huge deal, and I appreciate every single one of you. I mean, for those of you obviously who've been there since the beginning, and then those of you who come on even more recently, like, I don't take any subscriber for granted by any means. So thank you. I hope that means you're enjoying the content so far, and believe me, there's a lot more coming. Not just like, hey, here's coming up on video, but actually a lot of stuff that I'm working on. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.